As we've been reporting this morning, CBS 4 News has uncovered a never-before-seen contract put out by the Scott administration immediately after Hurricane Irma that dramatically raised the cost of cleaning up the Florida Keys. Because of this contract, it will likely add millions, if not tens of millions of dollars to what taxpayers will have to pay to clean up the Keys. Here's just one example. Under the debris removal contracts in place before the storm, Monroe County pays about $95 to remove a refrigerator. But now that same refrigerator will cost taxpayers $969, 10 times the previous rate. Reaction to our story has been coming in across the state. State Senator Jack Latvala, who chairs the powerful Senate Appropriations Committee, offered this statement. I'm aware of the report and the concerns that have been raised, and I do think we have a responsibility to look into it. At our next Appropriations Committee hearing on October 25th, we were already planning to examine storm cleanup, and I'm going to have a full vetting of this issue. A spokesperson for Senate President Joe Negron said he was not aware an emergency contract was issued to clean up the Keys or the rates being charged under that contract. A spokesperson for Congressman Carlos Cabello said the congressman's priority is to make sure all debris in the Florida Keys is cleared as soon as possible. That's why he's been focused on extending federal debris removal support. This is critical for public safety and for the Keys' tourism-based economy. Regarding any contract disputes or irregularities, those should be addressed by the pertinent authorities. The congressman strongly encourages agency leaders at the state and federal levels to protect taxpayer dollars allocated to them and do everything possible to ensure they're efficiently and responsibly spent. That's the Republican side of things. Now, Democrats have been more critical. Joining me now is Democratic State Senator Jose Javier Rodriguez, who sits on the Senate Appropriations Committee. Senator, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's just start with, you've seen the report. What's your reaction to it?
Listen, first of all, thanks for covering this and for the investigation. It's disgusting. This is not the way the public's business should be done. Unfortunately, we have a governor who has a history of shady dealings with public dollars to benefit himself and his friends. And I think that it's especially appalling as we're still recovering from Irma. Debris removal is a really important part of getting our constituents' lives back in order. And, you know, we need to fully investigate, you know, with everything in our power in the state legislature, exactly what happened, what went down, and what we need to do about it.
Well, what's your reaction to the prices? When you see how the prices almost were tenfold in some cases?
Well, again, I mean, that's the reason why, you know, I think in addition to that is everything that you've reported. When you put it all together, again, the governor's history from even before he was elected with all his problems of helping out his friends with public dollars. You put that together with the fact that, again, as you've reported, you know, there were local contracts, there were State Department of Transportation contracts already in place exactly for this. And again, you know, using the emergency powers that the executive has and the department has, they pushed through this sweetheart deal for some transportation contractors to do debris removal at double the price in some cases and more than 10 times the price in others. You put this all together, it looks very, very bad. But again, you put it together, we need to investigate it. But when you put it together with Rick Scott's history, a lot of us, I feel like, know what we're looking at here, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
Well, one of the concerns is obviously who's ultimately going to be on the hook. It's taxpayer money.
Absolutely.
But even more critical is that right now the federal government and under FEMA is scheduled to pick up about 90% of all debris removal costs and all the costs associated with the storm. However, if FEMA determines that the prices being charged under an emergency contract like this one are inappropriate or outlandish, they could deny the refunding request, and as a result, state taxpayers will be on the hook for the entire amount.
That's right. We've already paid our federal taxes, and now we're going to use our state taxes to pay more because of the governor's actions. And I think something that you've pointed out is very important, which is the fact that after the storm, there were a lot of sort of jurisdictions fighting each other to sort of, you know, to track all the debris removal because it affected the entire state. And the governor and others were going out and saying, hey, everybody, just the contracts you negotiated before the storm, keep those in place. And he basically did the exact opposite at a scale that is shocking. I mean, having contracts where the rates are 10 times higher for contractors that don't normally do debris removal, that are very close to the governor, and doing this in a 24-hour period in back room. I mean, this is just not how the public's business should be done.
Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, the Republican Party controls the Senate and the House, but the Senate tends to be a little bit more thoughtful about these things sometimes. The committee chairman, you serve on appropriations, the committee chairman there said this may be something we have to look at. Mike Dew, the transportation secretary for the state of Florida, has not been confirmed. He's supposed to have a hearing. Do you think Republican leaders in Tallahassee will allow this to come for a full hearing? What are you calling on your fellow colleagues to do?
Absolutely. Well, at the time of taping, so I've talked with several of my colleagues in Tallahassee and have put in a formal request to see which of our committees are going to basically have jurisdiction to really dig into this, because there's so many of them. Many of them I sit on, but we need, we need to make sure that we, as a legislative body, come together and really get to the bottom of exactly what this happened. And as you said, the confirmation process is something that the state Senate has the power over, and you better believe we're going to use that process, or at least those of us who sit on the appropriate committee, the confirmation committee, as I do, are going to use that power to really get to the bottom of exactly how did this happen, because not all agencies have this sort of this emergency power, and not all agencies have this sort of contractors with tons of campaign cash to shower different Republican leaders with. So we're going to try to find out exactly what happened here.
What's your general feel about how the state overall has handled the cleanup?
Well, listen, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. I and my colleagues, I'm working on potential legislation to kind of just helping local cities have more control over the process in terms of trying to figure things out, dealing with FPL, for example, which has been a big headache in this district, have been knocking heads with them before the storm on a whole range of issues, from solar power to other things. Are
you satisfied with how FPL handled this storm?
Absolutely not. I think that the fact that, one of the things that, we heard in committee even this week, I was sitting in committee and questioning the Public Service Commission. The Public Service Commission is the one who's supposed to be regulating rates. FPL is going to be going up to Tallahassee to ask for a huge number for us to pay.
A surcharge, basically.
Surcharge.
They're going to pay for this clean, right?
Correct.
The correction.
So,
right.
So it's a for-profit monopoly. They win all the time. The reason is why 80% of the power went out in Miami-Dade County, when, thank God, we barely had a Category 1 in most parts of Miami-Dade County, and we thank God for that. But why 80% of the power went out is, why did that happen? Well, part of the reason, I believe, is because they don't have an incentive to do anything else, because they charge us on the front end and the back end. And the other thing, too, is how they prioritize putting our power back on is a black box. Again, it's a for-profit monopoly. There should be priorities in place, particularly for vulnerable people, and a lot of them were left vulnerable.
Senator, as we look into that issue and as we try to get more answers on this debris removal contract, we'll be back in touch with you.
I hope so.
Thank you very much for coming in. All right. We'll be right back after the break.